Spikes, if you're watching this video right after it's been released, you need to head over to our Twitter right away. If you follow us and follow Gamegenic, you're going to see instructions on how you can win yourself one of 4 Bastion 100 Plus XLs. They're not even for sale yet, and you can bring one to your LGS and show it off. Seriously, go do that now and watch the video when you come back. We'll be drawing 4 lucky winners on September 1st, 2023.
What's up, Spikes? Welcome back to the Spike Feeders Fab. Today we have something a little bit different. We're not doing a gameplay video. Elliot is on the same side of the table as me, which is a different setup, but that's because today we have a very special reveal where we're going to be doing a demonstration of Gamegenic's new Bastion 100 Plus XL, which, by the way, this is a sponsored video. Thank you, Gamegenic, for sponsoring us today. So what we're going to be doing, we're just going to be talking about this new product, and it's coming out in September of this year, I believe. And we're just going to talk about the benefits that this might have for your Flesh and Blood decks. These ones are specifically for CC, the 100 Plus. They are going to be coming out with a similar product that's about half the size. It'll be the 550 Plus, or 50 Plus, sorry.
Exactly.
And those ones will be really, really good for Blitz decks. Those ones are slated for a release a little bit later in the year, so we don't unfortunately have those to showcase for you today. But we still will be telling you about the benefits of both as we get into it. And, you know, without further ado, by the way, I'm Bill. This is Elliot. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is Elliot from the Spike Feeders.
You said my name because I'm on the same side of the table as you, but I don't think you introduced yourself.
No. Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
That's
You're not
fine.
on some kind of Living Heroes podcast or anything like that.
Non-deceased.
Non-deceased, alive heroes. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. So something that's really cool about these, like I said, is that they're going to be perfect for CC decks. Those will be 80 cards, plus your hero in a snap case, and we do actually have a demonstration of that. I guess first and foremost, this is Gamegenic's Dungeon S550 Plus, and it will fit exactly 5 of these 100 plus deck boxes. And there's a little bit of room left over. We do have, this one is specifically the Professor's, but this is their Size Morph Divider. You could fill this with additional tokens or counters, or a pad of paper with a pen if you're going to a larger event. Exactly. But yeah, so you can bring 5 of your decks with you. Like I said, with the 50 plus, you're gonna be able to fit 2 of them in each of these slots. So you could bring, you know, 5 of your CC decks, or you could bring 2 CC decks and 6 Blitz decks. There will be enough room for all of those. So you're gonna have a lot of options when it comes to playing at whatever event you want to go to. So for our example today, we have this deck right here. So this is a sleeved CC deck. We also have Dorinthia as the hero for this potential deck. She is in Gamegenic's new slide card cases, which we're also going to be talking about today. And as you can see, because there's an uninterrupted back here, just there's no sort of break in the plastic, for either showing off purposes or for organizational purposes, you'll be able to have this on your shelf or in your bag, and you can see who your hero is right at the outside of it. So this here, we have a double-sleeved CC deck. We have the 60 cards plus a 20 card sideboard with our hero in a slide case, and then we also have Gamegenic's double life counter on the other side. So something that's really nice about these, this is the clear version specifically, but there are actually a bunch of different colors.
The ones we had in our hands earlier were like blue and purple. You've got green, yellow, like frosty white kind of a thing. But even though like these are kind of a frosted color on these, the outside is actually a glossy finish on all of these. So like doesn't matter if you're carrying them in this or like some other deck box, sometimes they get scuffed or peel or something like that, but these will not do that. So that's a big plus as well.
There's not an additional coating on top. These are just, it is just the plastic. So something that is nice about these as well, they are pretty solid. So if you try to open them like a traditional deck box, they actually kind of won't unless you really, really reef on it. They are intended to sort of be opened kind of like a banana. You know, there's a little like thumbprint here, where you can kind of put your thumb and then you kind of pull them sort of apart like that, which is quite nice because they won't necessarily open by accident. I have personally had some issues with some other deck boxes in the past where, you know, just if they're jostling around in your bag, if you don't have them in another product like the Dungeon, they run the risk of just sort of opening up and spilling your cards everywhere, and that's no good.
Yeah, these ones explicitly kind of have like a locking mechanism, right? You lay it on the back there and it like snaps shut, like Bill's saying, and now you can't really open it unless you're intending to.
Yeah, so you can either open it up that first way that I mentioned like this, or if you squeeze the bottom, there is a little bit of left and right play on these. If you squeeze the bottom, it'll sort of release the locking mechanism and you can open it up that way as well. Something else that I think is really important specifically for Flesh and Blood purposes with these new slide card cases, these are, as we already demonstrated, they are big enough to fit a slide card case. They are actually big enough to hold 14 slide card cases, which I think is really important, especially for people who have, an extensive equipment loadout. Equipment in Flesh and Blood, of course, can be quite expensive, but having this additional option instead of just having them, loose in if you have a dungeon or something similar, or just kind of keeping them with you in even just one of those. I've seen people with like a small BCW box because they are an awkward size. They don't fit in traditional deck boxes.
I was going to say that because that's actually how I kept mine previously, was literally just in a white BCW box.
Exactly. So having this is a little bit more, it's more cohesive with the rest of your aesthetic. They are also a little bit more secure. As I was mentioning, with those, you're not going to have the risk of the box just opening up and having your equipment slide all over the place. So I think that this is genuinely a very good use of these, is just to have your equipment loadout. You could fit, like I said, 14. That's a little bit much for maybe specifically one hero. So this could be for multiple decks that you're bringing.
Right, like you're saying, like equipment in Flesh and Blood can tend to be one of the higher price point things. You probably don't own 5 Fiendel Spring Tunics or whatever, but if you're bringing 4 decks, one of your Bastions in here can just be equipment, and that can be split among those decks.
So very, very nice option there. So I think that these are honestly going to be quite useful for that. As mentioned, the 50 plus is also going to be pretty useful. I assume that those will hold probably about 6 or 7 of them if they're exactly half. So once again, 4 Blitz, probably about the same. I would probably recommend those specifically for the decks themselves. I think that these are going to be the much better option when it comes to actually holding your equipment with you.
A couple other points we've got to go over here. If you, I guess, already have Gamegenic product, this is like the side holder. They're all kind of branded with the 100 plus or whatever plus XL. That means that the inner dimensions are going to be the same. So if you were already keeping one of your Flesh and Blood decks in a Gamegenic product like this, fits in here like this, it'll fit the exact same in one of these. That goes for, again, this is the side holder. If you like the kind of upright more, there's the Squire or the side kick for the fabric ones. And as well, we've got our Watchtower here. This is another great option if you don't have like the full dungeon, if you only need to bring one deck with you. Normally this thing kind of in this crevice here, or whatever you want to call it, compartment, holds this little tray, but you can actually just slide one of the Bastion 100 plus XLs right in there. And then kind of it has the thing at the top, which the Watchtower does. You can bring with you your dice, your resource counters, whatever you need, slide it right in there.
So I think that this is really good for specifically your armory events that you're going to. You can just decide on the fly which deck you're gonna bring. You can just take it that's already in this Bastion and just slide it in there and you're good to go. Anyway, I think that will just about do it for the actual physical demonstration of the product today. Something to note for the 100 plus Bastions, they are their price point is $11.99 USD, about 15 bucks Canadian. The 50s, which will be coming out later this year, as I mentioned, are actually $7.99. So I think that those are going to be a really good option. Hopefully, once they start to be produced, we'll be able to do another sort of follow-up demonstration with those 50s, so I can really demonstrate how good they are for Blitz decks. But with that being said and done, I think that will just about wrap up this video here. Thank you once again to Gamegenic for sponsoring and allowing us to show off this product to all of you. I hope that you find something useful here. I think genuinely that having an extra sort of secure spot for your equipment is going to be really, really important. Because like Elliot said, Fiendel Spring Tunics aren't getting any cheaper, unfortunately, but it's a topic for another day, a topic for another video. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Elliot, for helping me showcase this wonderful new product.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And stay well, stay safe. We'll catch you in the next one.